What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lightskin Gaming. Today I'm going to go over the top 5 useful vehicles for beginners in Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto over the years has come out with so many different vehicles in helicopters, airplanes, bikes, cars, all kinds of different cool vehicles. Some of them have weapons, etc. And it's really hard for beginners to distinguish what vehicles will be most valuable for them to help them make money and be successful in the game on Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm going to give you guys the 5 vehicles that I think are most useful for beginners in Grand Theft Auto. I'm going to start with number 5, the Mark II Oppressor. Now, the Mark II Oppressor, in my opinion, is the most important vehicle in the game right now, but that's my opinion, and it's super expensive, so that's why we put it in the 5th slot. If you're a beginner, this is a very difficult vehicle to afford, but it is definitely one of the best vehicles for beginners to use, especially if you have a friend that has one, you can use theirs. It gets you places super fast, it's mobile and easy to control once you get used to it, and as well the missiles are just super effective at killing NPCs and helping you get around in free mode missions and getting to places as fast as possible. So that's why the Mark II Oppressor is number 5 for beginners, just because it's expensive. If it wasn't so expensive, it'd probably take number 1 for me. Number 4, the Cargo Bob. Now, the reason why the Cargo Bob to me is super important for beginners is the ability to pick up cars. This ability allows you to make lots of money with vehicle import and export businesses, so just having this and being able to spawn it really helps save time, whether that be a sports car for your vehicle import, export. It makes it so you don't have to take those tight turns, saving you lots of time, as well decreasing the damage you'll take while doing those missions. So the Cargo Bob is definitely up there for important vehicles for beginners. The third vehicle that I think is really important for beginners to pick up is the Terrorbyte. Now, the Terrorbyte again is an expensive vehicle because you do need to have the nightclub in order to own the Terrorbyte, but the Terrorbyte is super effective for helping you run your vehicle import and export missions, your crate missions, your gun running missions, etc. Not that I recommend that you do gun running missions or motorcycle club business resupply missions. I generally recommend that you buy those supplies, but it is super effective for running those missions if you are going to get those supplies. And for vehicle import, export, and crate missions, this is one of the most important pieces of equipment to have. So this vehicle is definitely one of the most useful vehicles for beginners trying to make money and run their businesses effectively. So the Terrorbyte is super awesome for that ability to be able to source vehicles or crates from the actual Terrorbyte instead of having to go all the way back to your CEO office. Plus, this thing is a tankier vehicle, so you don't have to worry about it getting blown up in one shot. And it allows you to edit and make changes to your Mark II Oppressor as well, so it is a very valuable vehicle. So just keep that in mind. If you do have the vehicle import or cargo crate missions, you should definitely have this vehicle. You guys are missing out. This vehicle makes running those missions really easy, so definitely one of the top 5 most useful vehicles in the game. For number 2, we have the Kuruma. Now, the Kuruma is probably my top number 1 vehicle for new players to have. I'd almost say every new player, this should be the first vehicle you should purchase. Actually, I'm going to take a second and actually say that the Kuruma should be the very first vehicle you purchase in this game, in my opinion. The reason being is it's super cheap comparatively to all the other vehicles on this list, and as well it's super effective at what it does. It is armored, so you cannot get shot out of it, so you can use this vehicle in heists and all kinds of missions, free mode missions, and you can't get shot out. It's very difficult to get shot out while driving this vehicle. The one downside is it's not armored like a Insurgent or anything like that, where one missile will blow up the Kuruma. But if you are a beginner, please buy this vehicle first. It will make your life a whole lot easier dealing with people with all these fancy guns and vehicles, and make your life a whole lot easier doing missions. So the Kuruma comes in at number 2 on my top 5 most useful vehicles for beginners in Grand Theft Auto 5. Before I get to the number 1 most useful vehicle for beginners in Grand Theft Auto 5, I'd like to have some special mentions here. The Vigilante, in my opinion, is a very useful vehicle, especially in heists, because you can use that vehicle in heists, first of all, and second of all, it's super fast to getting places. It's the fastest vehicle in the game, land vehicle, because of its boost, as well as the missiles are super effective at taking out NPCs because of those those super heat-seeking missiles that will 360 around and blow up an NPC with no problem. So the Vigilante is definitely one of the vehicles. It's just too expensive for me to rationalize for beginners. It's kind of a luxury item in my opinion. Now the Insurgent as well is something I'd like to mention. The Insurgent is super armored and very good, but you can get shot out of it. So it's not like the Kuruma, but it does take a whole bunch of bullets, and you can run this in heists and other missions as well. The one problem with this is you do need a friend really to actually get the full potential out of it, because you need someone on the turret to help get the missions done. So the Insurgent is very, very useful for beginners in Grand Theft Auto 5, and it is on the cheaper side, but to get the upgrades you need the MOC or an Avenger with a workshop, so you can get that work done on the Insurgent. So keep that in mind. The Insurgent should be somewhere on your list, but it isn't necessarily a priority. And last but not least on the special mentions, the Duke of Death. Now the Duke of Death is free for some players. I think it has something to do with being an old gen and moving to new gen or something like that. But the Duke of Death is like the Kuruma, where it's really hard to get shot out of, and it is armored like the Insurgent. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's just super expensive, and you can get shot out of it through the front. So if you're not careful, it's very easy to get shot out of. So just keep that in mind. The Duke of Death is something you should consider getting. If you can get the Duke of Death free, I'd almost say hold off buying the Kuruma for now. So check out if you can get the Duke of Death for free in the Warstock Vehicles website on Grand Theft Auto 5. Alright, now that we got the special mentions out of the way, the Vigilante, the Insurgent, and the Duke of Death, I'd like to say the number one vehicle I think is most useful for beginners in Grand Theft Auto 5 is the Buzzard. Now the Buzzard is super, super important for new beginning players, and it should be the second vehicle I think you should buy, and the first helicopter you should buy by far. It is so useful for new players, and the reason being is that you can spawn it in anywhere at any time if you're a CEO or VIP, and this ability to spawn this in allows new players to get around the map super fast for a low cost. At $1.75 million, and it comes on sale all the time, you will be able to spawn in the oppressor on the road right near you, so you can get in and complete different missions and get around the map effectively. Not only is that awesome about it, it's going to be free to spawn in every time, and you're going to get missiles with that Buzzard as well, and it doesn't require any upgrades to be effective. So you're going to be able to go and complete headhunter missions very effectively and get around the map, being able to get to your vehicle import vehicles very easily, or getting to your crates very easily and picking those up and bringing them back effectively for a low cost. So the Buzzard takes number one in my opinion. I remember when I first got my Buzzard, that's when my gameplay really changed and I started making millions on Grand Theft Auto, because I could actually get places faster, allowing me to get to those special fancy vehicles like the Mark II Oppressor and Vigilante and things like that. So pick up the Buzzard. So for beginners, I recommend that you get the Kuruma and then the Buzzard for sure, to help you guys get those other fancy vehicles, to help you guys make money in Grand Theft Auto 5. I hope this video was helpful, and if there's any vehicles that you think I missed or I should have changed the order, please let me know in the comment section below. If you don't mind, drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.